Okay, welcome everyone. Sunday morning, I'm on Warm Creek Springs Road up in the Shoshone National Forest between Moran and Du Bois. I'm probably about 8,500 feet. And I just noticed something. You have to be on your toes here. Okay? There's a bear track. You can see the claws. Okay? Looks like he came up out of here. Then he crossed the road. And he headed up in that area. Okay? I am not going to proceed any further. I'm not foolish. Judging by the size and the fact that the claws are quite long, it seems, that's very well, most likely a grizzly bear. Those on the net, when I publish this, please, critique me otherwise. But I take a size 13 wide, and you can see my foot next to the Grizz. Or, I don't think it's a black bear. It just looks too big. So, further down here, I actually found some wolf tracks. So, this area has a lot of large, you could say, the apex predators. Like I said, I was gonna take a walk up through here, but something tells me to maybe not do so. I don't want to run into any kind of trouble. The other thing too is I'm fairly proficient with a firearm, and the go-to backcountry gun in this day and age seems to be an autoloader chambered in 10mm with hard cast rounds or solid copper rounds. And you see I'm checking my back at all times. Like I said, those might have been made earlier, but I'm not going to take the chance. I was going to take a walk up on top of that exposed ridge just to get like a more panoramic view of things. But I decided, what if the big fuzzy thing is up there? And oh yeah. Now I know this is a little bit old, but up over my shin. Yeah, the snow is still deep here. That's a wolf track. Okay. So I'm not going to play around too much with that. Talking with people up here. Okay. There's always been some wolves, always been some bears, but then under the Clinton administration, someone got the bright idea of introducing Canadian hybrid wolves, which were never here. Besides decimating the deer and elk herds and putting a hurt on farmers and ranchers, as well as hunters and outfitters, the introduction of wolves has actually made the bears more aggressive. That's what I've been told by people who live here. I will trust them above any bureaucrat that sits behind a desk in Washington, D.C., and the most difficult thing that person does is decide whether to put almond milk or soy milk in their double light latte. So I'm heading back down the road, and I didn't drive up any further. I'm really impressed by the Subaru, but I also realize it has its limitations. And if If I had something like a Jeep, I could go up here. Maybe even my old Toyota with proper tires. But I'm not going to play around. I don't want to get stuck because, as you can see, I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere. So, I'm just going to, well, that's as much as it'll magnify. But it's a beautiful area. But you definitely have to keep your toes. Well, I should say keep on your toes. Like I said, I saw the tracks. We just walked from there. That bear went up over there. He could be 5 miles away for all I know. Or he could be 500 feet. I'm not going to tempt fate. Okay? Because I'm up here alone. Something bad happens. Well, it's not good. So I was just kind of doing a little bit of exploring and scouting around as well. One of the things about Wyoming is that there's some fantastic hunting, but a lot of places have a draw system. In other words, a given area. Oh, I see a long-tailed chipmunk. Okay. One of the things about this state is that they use a draw system. In other words, if you want to hunt, let's say deer, all right? If you're a resident, actually non-residents can apply as well. But say you want to hunt mule deer in this area. I believe this is area 128. It's one of the better areas. They have a general tag and a drawn tag. The drawn tags, right, which is a lottery, almost like back east with, like moose or, doe permits in certain areas. You have a chance. Some people get them, some people don't. If you do get one, the draw tag in this area is like over 80% success. In some place, I remember seeing like down in Landa, or Lander, people still kind of marvel at my New England accent in a way. They're wonderful people. I mean that with all sincerity. They're wonderful. Many people up here have given me like really awesome advice of like where to go, where not to go, what to do, what not to do. All right. So you can have a very great hunt, but if not, you have to get what is called a general tag. And some areas do not have general tag. It's draw only. And because of the severe winter last year, well, I shouldn't say last year, the year before. In fact, in some areas, 80% of the antelope population died. There are areas that are actually off limits to hunting of deer and antelope. I don't know about elk. I didn't look at the map. But there's a lot of places that are severely restricted. So anyways, getting back to the point about the drawn versus general, okay, you kind of get like seems like you get kind of a heads, looks like it's like about a week or two head start if you get a drawn tag. So those guys that get a drawn tag can hunt this area before anybody else. Imagine back home in Massachusetts where we hunted and lived in Zone 8. Imagine if we had the same system where you have a drawn tag, you have your drawn tags. You can, those that get drawn for Zone 8 can hunt the first week of deer season. Those that don't get drawn, they got to wait until the second week to hunt. Well, you know what, that's why up here, looking at the stats, success rate for the general is like 20 to 25%. So it goes quite a bit down. The state of Wyoming is covered like about 100 different wildlife management zones for deer elk, moose. Of course, those are all drawn permits, but you can get general tags. There's also pretty much over-the-counter tags for antlerless whitetail in kind of like northern Wyoming, because they compete with the mule deer. You can get kind of like almost like an over-the-counter tag, and then after that, if they sell out. I bought one, but I didn't have a chance to really use it because where the zone that I could go in was like a straight 5-hour ride from where I'm living now. And you may say that's not a big deal, but it's really, you want to do an overnight. You just can't. Oh yeah, here's some of the wolf tracks that I saw earlier. Okay. There's my footprint. So hunting in this state can be kind of complicated, and you have to really plan it out. And then there's also the issue of public and private land. Much of the land up here is public as I'm walking on it, but you have to be aware of private land. I was told trespass is a $750 fine, plus you could get up to 3 days in jail. Nobody wants that. The other thing, I live near the Wind River Indian Reservation. 2 tribes live on it, the Shoshone and the Arapaho. Trespass on that land is a $1,000 fine. Okay, so if you want to go hiking or fishing, you need to get either one. I believe the fishing permit, and for a non-resident, for like an annually, is $150. I think you can get a 7-day permit for $50. Okay, so that allows you to trespass on kind of like their open land and go fishing in certain places. Now, they only allow fishing for non-tribal members in like south of Route 26. So there's only certain areas. North of that, it's pretty much you have to be native only. And I've got native students, wonderful people. And one of them told me that regarding hunting, like if you hunt on tribal land, by the time you are done, and I don't think he's messing with me too much. He said by the time you are done, it's going to cost you about $70,000 in a combination of fines, reparations, possible jail time. So you want to make sure you're in an area where you're allowed to go into. So I know I'm kind of rambling on here, so that's all right. I'm just coming back down the mountain. I got to get my mountain lungs back in shape. You will. That's another thing too. If you get anybody from back east comes out here, please get in shape, okay? Because I found out that much of the game, like if you want to come hunt mule deer or anything like that, let's say you want to hunt mule deer and elk, and again, please correct me. I'm talking about do it yourself. Get a tag and come out here on public land and kind of like, rough camp it or whatever, or even stay in town at a motel or whatever. Much of the game is like 8,000-9,000 feet. Some of your biggest bucks, all right, the big muleys, they're taken at like up to 10,000 feet or more. And I discovered that last fall when I saw a muley chasing a doe, and I was at 9,600 feet. So if anybody thinks about, okay, I'm gonna come out here and do a hunt for myself, yeah, you can do it. Now is the time to, hit the elliptical, if you know what I mean, and do some dumbbell curls, not some 16-ounce curls, if you know what I mean. And good old-fashioned rucking. I don't know if you can see me. I'm going to try and do a selfie here. Okay. I got my day pack on. All right. I got an extra jacket in there. A life straw so I can get water, compass, knife, fire starters. Also, since I'm in the back country, okay, I got my Glock Model 40 10mm with a hollow sun sight, and it's got the circle and dot. So, and I've got 220 grain hard cast ammo in it. I know some people say, oh, you should carry a 44 or something like that. They're starting to find out that bear attacks and things like that are very fast and furious. It's like in 2 seconds they're on you. Like I could, all of a sudden turn around and right there around the corner, a bear is coming. It seems like I'm going to have to pump the crap out of them. I know I should be carrying bear spray, but some people actually warned me that some bears that have been sprayed are inoculated to it. So sometimes it doesn't work. And then what? So, and again, please, anyone, feel free to comment. All right. Like I said, I listen to people that live in the area. And, it's like 50 degrees, but still, all right. If I walk off trail, the snow is still like you can tell. It's like, oh, right up to my knee. But I can smell the fresh green from the pines and the balsams. Oh. Okay, so right now, it's spring black bear season. I was also coming up here to maybe kind of take a peek around. And that's the other thing too. A lot of areas have what are called quota hunts. Now, what does that mean? That means in a given zone, let's say this area is zone 128, and I don't know the stats. Let's say it's a quota hunt, and after 200 animals are taken, the season is shut down. So let's take a realistic thing. Let's say back east, you get a general deer tag in this area, all right? And again, I'm just giving the scenario. You get a general tag, right? All of a sudden, you have a family emergency. You got to delay your hunt by 2 weeks. Well, what you have to do, you have to call up on the weekends, the Fish and Game, or go online, and they will tell you what zones have been closed. So again, imagine, let's go back to my Massachusetts analogy, all right, where we hunted deer in zone 8. Imagine you had a quota system, say 1,000 deer in zone 8. Once that number is reached, the season shuts down. So let's say 500 deer are shot during the bow and arrow season. And then 10 days after the opening day of shotgun season, the other 500 are met. So it's kind of like that week and a half point, the season is shut down until the next year. So you can imagine if you spent money on that license, I should say you get a license, then you got to get the tag. All right. So you get that tag, and then you gave a contribution to the state of Wyoming. Now, I know for a fact, non-resident black bear tags are $373, and there are some quota areas. So mostly up towards, I want to say, the Cody Bighorns area. And I've noticed that one area, it seemed like after about 12 days, that one zone got shut down. All right. So again, you have to keep that stuff in mind. This isn't a state that you can kind of do things at the last minute. You have to do a lot of planning. You have to figure out where to go. So anyways, coming around the bend here. Oh, yeah. Kind of stink if that fell in front of your vehicle at the like the last moment. That came from up top there, you know. So looks like it happened quite a while ago because I don't see any. Well, yeah, it must have came from over in that area. But anyways, well, you'd hate to have that fall in front of you and hit it. It'd be a bad day. So, anyways, around this bend, I have my vehicle parked. Oh, there she is. Oh, yeah, and I also got a Thule topper. And I put all my life's possessions in it. And go anywhere I want. But, again, hunting this state, you got to do a lot of planning. I'm going to come up here again later on when more of the snow melts. And, you know, if I could find some antlers, that would be good. So, anyways, I'm going to cut it here. All right. So, everybody take care. And like I said, feel free to comment and message me or whatever. Okay. Like I said, things look good in the magazines, but in real life, it's a totally different story. Actually, I feel pretty good. 8,500 feet up. Like I said, it's a wonderful place, but you got to be prepared for what it has to offer. So, on that note, everybody, take care, stay safe, and maybe I'll go up to the pinnacles right up there, see what the roads are like. All right, bye now.